Now, tell me about yourself first of all. I heard that you did a lot of sailing.
Yeah, live on a 42-foot, so about 12-meter sailboat for the last 20 years. So we left from the U.S. and we've sailed to the Canadian Maritimes, way north in the ice. The music scene was very, very good, sort of a Celtic Irish music scene, but very good. And then we sailed to the Azores and then to Europe and based out of Spain for about 3 years. And that started a lot of my playing in Europe. And then we sort of drifted along to the Canary Islands and then to the Caribbean, and we based out of Antigua for another 3-4 years and played the tiki bar scene up and down the Caribbean chain.
Was that the old music business, or was that also something else? Job or something like that?
Music, you
music,
know, it was
only music?
sailing
Okay.
and music.
And music,
yeah.
Okay. And now you live in Chesapeake?
Now, yeah, in the Chesapeake Bay in Norfolk, Virginia. So we sailed back to the States, and what had happened was before we went sailing, I played with bands, and I quit the bands, and during the sailing, I started writing a lot of music. And when I came back, started recording. We set up a studio in a 81-foot 1942 old tugboat that the engines were gone and the tanks were gone, and we set up a studio below the water and recorded 3 CDs there. And then from that I got signed to a Nashville label, and then all my business came to Nashville.
But now you live here, or in
No, we're here a lot though. We still live on the boat. I don't want to leave the salt water in the ocean, you know. so we live on the boat, but we're here.
Okay.
So and it's a, you know, Nashville. It's a great spot for your music and your business.
Yeah. Do you write all your own songs?
Not always. I co-write with quite a few people. I write for others, and usually on every CD there'll be a couple songs that I really like that somebody else wrote, and I'll cover those.
Okay. How many CDs do you have out?
6.
6. Wow.
6 CDs out, and they're on Northwind label, and it's done well. They've done well in Europe. I've had the song called "No Fishing Pole" that went to #1 and was picked up by Universal Records France and distributed there. That was maybe 3 years ago. And the current is, thank you, Amy. And the current CD is Captains and Cowboys,
Okay.
which was released April of this year.
Okay. Can you tell me a bit
Talk about this?
it?
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. This is a little bit different than my other CD projects in that it's much more personal, probably much more about me. I spent the early part of my life pretty much raised rural on a farm. I used to raise quarter horses and Appaloosa horses, and for a while, for a living, I was shoeing horses. Spent a lot of time around the rodeo with cowboys, so that was a big part of my life. And some of the people that very influenced me, not musically, but influenced me on how to be as a person, were some old cowboys, guys that were just tough, but fair and honest and good people. And when I left from that to started moving on small boats, I found that same rugged individual as a small boat captain. So there was a similarity between the ocean and the cowboys, and I wanted to write about that and put it into one CD, and that's what came out here.
Okay. And can you tell me a little bit about the different songs on there?
Sure. One of the things on this CD that was different, I had a producer. I looked for a long time for the right producer, and ended up going with Dan Baird. And if you don't know Dan Baird, look up the Georgia Satellites. Dan was the lead vocal guitar player in the Georgia Satellites, big rock band. And Dan was a different sort of person, and he also, how can I say it? He also didn't let you do things the easy way. He worked you real hard, which is what I wanted. And so Dan's influence, I think, is pretty strong here. the CD will go from being, it's more of an Americana roots country, which is really what I like more than a pop country type. So it goes toward more of a not old time traditional country, but a roots country feel.
Okay.
So it'll cover that. It'll also cover, you might get a little feel of maritime, little taste of, there's a song called Save the Whales. So you might get a little touch of almost a bluegrass Irish feel, and there might be another song that you're getting almost a Caribbean feel. So I mix it up.
Okay. What's your favorite?
Oh, that's a tough question. That's a real tough question. That almost depends on what mood I'm in. You know, there are some love songs, and if I'm in that mood, then they're my favorite. That's a tough one. Probably at the moment, my favorite is Virginia.
Okay.
That's probably my favorite.
And what's that about?
It's about it started, the drive from Nashville to Norfolk is beautiful. You go through the Smoky Mountains and the Shenandoah Mountains, then you go down to the ocean, and it is gorgeous. And we make that drive, it's about 11, 12-hour drive to our boat. And you make that drive all the time, and it's absolutely beautiful. But you start looking at the history of the Civil War and the history of slavery and the history, and you don't go too much below the beauty, and there's another side to what Virginia was. And I tried to capture all that in a song.
Okay. Interesting.
So, but it's you know, and of course now it's, all the ads are, you know, Virginia's beautiful, and come to our beaches, see our mountains, and that's true. But a little bit, not too long ago, it was different.
Different, yeah. What part of the States are you from originally?
Originally, I'm from about 30 miles east of Buffalo, New York.
Okay.
So up in the Great Lakes, Lake Erie, Lake Ontario, very rural, more cows than people. But that's where I grew up, and I learned to sail in the Great Lakes. So I met a friend of my father who was an elderly gentleman from Norway who built, his father built boats in Norway, his grandfather built boats. He came here and built a boat to sail back, and met an American wife who didn't like boats. so he never got a chance to go sailing, so he took me. It was great. and he started a love for the water with me, so that was good.
When did you start knowing that you want to play country music, that you want to write?
As long as I can remember, I've played, and you know, as a kid, I wrote little rock and roll tunes, and I don't know, it just, you know, there was a point where the way I grew up, I was on the street pretty much from age 16. I was moved from my parents' house and was gone, and I played rock and roll to support myself. By about 20, I was tired of big amplifiers and loud guitars, and I sold all my electric equipment and just bought acoustic guitar and a dobro and a fiddle and a mandolin, and went to learn bluegrass and put away all the electric instruments. Did that for a number of years, and that slowly brought me back into country rock, southern rock, but what I always loved was a roots country bass, you know, so. And then I found that over the years of my writing, it always seemed to come out through that style. I think you can't make yourself have a style. The music finds you, and somewhere you're comfortable. You can hear where you try something here, you go here, and it doesn't sound as true as the one style that just suits you.
You found yours.
I think I did, yeah. It's comfortable, it feels good, you know. For years I was on the road playing blues, but all I ever wrote was happy blues. And people said, well, blues, it's not supposed to be so happy. So I'm not an unhappy person, you know, so that wasn't my style. You know, I could play the guitar, but it wasn't really what I felt. This is.
Do you have something that you remember especially that stands out from other experiences? Something that happened to you somewhere, some time along the way?
Well, yeah. something that happened, and I guess this goes back to Virginia, is we have, Amy and I have a music festival called the Aiken and Friends Fest. Small town, and it is a Roots Americana festival. And we went, and very small town in Virginia, and at one point they had a big, they asked us to come to town, and the town board was there, and the mayor of the town came and gave us a paper and made us honorary citizens of Smithfield for bringing the music to Smithfield. That felt very good. We've been so long on a sailboat with not really one home, that was very special to have them, I don't know, recognize that we were bringing something to their town and they were giving something to us. So that was good. That was good.
Are you working on a special project right now or planning one?
The big one is this. Just got released, so it is, you know, the writing and the making of a CD is the small part, and the bigger part is the promoting and going out on the road and playing the tunes.
Get it out there.
Yeah, yeah.
What's your biggest hope? What are you hoping for
I
future?
for music hopes, it is to just keep writing better and better. Really, that's, you know, for me, I don't, music is my living and my passion. But I still see songwriters that I wish I could write as good as they do. You know, so my hope is to be able to put into words those stories that a good songwriter can do. If you have somebody like Guy Clark, I don't know if you know Guy Clark, how he can write so good. I mean, you know, to aspire to just be better. I think that's my hope, to just always try to be better, especially songwriting. There are a lot of good players. You know, you come to Nashville, any street corner, you'll find great players. Just great players. But it's not so easy to find good songwriters. You know, so that's my hope.
Okay. Anything else you would like people to know?
Well, I would like people to know that, you know, we've played Europe a few times, a few different tours, and we're looking forward to come back.
Okay.
I have family in France, and it's a ball to be able to go back and visit them, in and out of being on the road. I'd like people to know where they can find me, and you can find me at www.mikeaikenmusic.com. Go to the website. You spell Aiken, A-I-K-E-N. And through there, stop by, say hello, and the music's on, you know, on all the social media sites or all the digital sites. So come on by and say hello. The door's open.
Okay. Very good.